Hello, hello. Welcome to Nx After Dark. It's not exactly after dark in Denmark, but I have a sick family today, so I'm just spending whatever little time I have right now on sharing some stuff that I see coming up all the time. So I'm going to be talking about Nx, of course. It's in the context of Angular. And to take a project that you might be familiar with, we're going to be using the... Oh, hello, Shivam. Thank you for joining. Nice to have you. I hope the audio is okay and everything else. Well, I'm going to be taking the Two of Heroes tutorial and even the extended one, the router tutorial, because it has more features, so it's going to be more interesting in the long run. Today, we're just going to start out with kind of migrating an Angular CLI workspace to Nx and see if there's some kind of issue there or if it's a smooth ride, and then start making decisions on how to structure it from an architectural standpoint. But that might not be today, and I might be called out to take care of my family. So if that happens, I'm going to end the stream pretty quickly. But let's see how far we get. So here we are, going to be opening up the Angular.io website. Going to be finding this. So there's the Two of Heroes here, but that's kind of the basic one. I'm going to be looking for the extended one with the routing features. Here it is, the router tutorial, Two of Heroes. So here we can take a live example that'll open it up in StackBlitz, or we can download it as a zip file, which I have already done. So let's take a look at what we've got there. Well, the nice thing is what we get down is everything we need. It's a full workspace. It seems. Let's check out. We have the Angular JSON file, which is the workspace configuration. It has, let's see, just one project. It's an application project called Angular.io example. So this was downloaded straight from the Angular.io website. And it has package.json with all the dependencies here from Angular and so on. So from here, we could use whatever package manager we feel comfortable with, npm or Yarn. I prefer pnpm, but the Angular compatibility compiler is not really compatible with modern package layouts. So then my second choice is Yarn, the first version, because the second version is using plug and play, which is another package layout not supported by Angular compatibility compiler. So I've run Yarn install. Let's just do it again to make sure everything's all right. And that added this. Oh, by the way, we should initialize this repo so that we can put it on GitHub. Here we go. Okay, let's look what we have. We have our Yarn log file because I installed with Yarn 1. We have our dependencies. We have this one project. And yeah, let's rename it to Two of Heroes app, actually. Just going to kind of clean up what we got here from out of the box. Let's see if there's something else. I see TSLint. I don't want TSLint. That's deprecated. It's actually end of life. So it's worse than that. And it's not even... if you generate a new workspace with Angular CLI today, there won't be any... Is there TSLint? There shouldn't be TSLint. But we'll remove that, actually. So here, Yarn remove TSLint and Codalyzer, which is the Angular specific rules, lint rules for TSLint. So today we should be using Angular ESLint and ESLint, but it's not built into Angular CLI, so you'll have to add that later yourself. Of course, Nx has its own default setup with Angular ESLint out of the box. So if we generated a new project or new workspace with Nx, it would come built in. But going to be removing some stuff here. Let's see, there's probably also a protractor that's also been deprecated, protractor in itself, and certainly the Angular support. So let's remove that as well. Yeah, and then we can delete this end-to-end testing project. And delete the TS-lint configuration. Okay, starting to look better. Is there anything else here from that we don't want to have? No, it's Angular, and it's this in-memory web API for development purposes, so that it's kind of setting up a fake backend. And we have Angular dependencies, Jasmine. So Jasmine and Karma. Karma builds on top of Jasmine, right? But is a in-browser test runner for the Jasmine framework. So that's still supported, and it's still a Google project. Of course, there are alternatives. Nx defaults to Jest instead of Karma for unit tests, but you can also pick Karma or Jasmine. Let's keep that for now. Let's go through our Angular configuration file here for the workspace. See if there are configurations we need to remove. There's test, that's for Karma. There's lint, so let's remove this lint target. Let's remove the end-to-end target as well. Oh, and this project here should now say Tour of Heroes app. So that's the default project. So when we run ngserve or ngbuild, it will look for this project by default. Oh, here's another one. I should probably do a search and replace for this. Tour of Heroes app. Yeah, so it was also used in these target commands for serving and for globalization. Yeah, that might be it. Okay. Yes, that's kind of sad, but that's how things are. There is no end-to-end testing framework, no linter bundled with Angular today. So kind of weird. It's still in the To Heroes tutorial. So this is more similar to what we might have out of the box when generating a workspace with Nginx, something like this, right? Except there's this in-memory web API. Okay, so we're on Angular 12.1. I don't know, there's probably 12.2 by this point, but whatever. Let's stick to this one that came from the documentation for now. Okay, so let's figure out how to migrate to an Nx Workspace. Let's go visit the nx.dev documentation. We're on Angular. We'll look for migration from Angular CLI. Let's try to follow this guide and see if there's any issues here. We have the major version of Angular CLI must align with Nx. Okay, we're on Angular 12, and Nx 12 is also the latest. And automatic migration from Angular CLI to Nx only supports one project. Okay, we have one project, so pretty lucky. Well, did I remove the end-to-end project? Let's make sure. I deleted it, but did I remove it from in here? Oh, right. It was only a target. Yeah. So Nx, I think Nx will generate an end-to-end testing project as a separate project, not a target, which is kind of neat for different reasons. But that's not the case for Angular CLI. So we have just one project, everything's fine. On here, use ng-add and preserve your existing structure. Keep your existing file structure. Okay, so it'll be familiar. Let's try that, see what we get. This will install the Nx Workspace package, and we'll create this Nx JSON configuration that we'll look into. Hello, Inea, or however you pronounce it. Thank you for joining. I am working on this Two of Heroes. Where did it go? Here it is, Two of Heroes router tutorial. Going to migrate it to an Nx workspace because this is an Angular CLI workspace. And then we'll start splitting it into projects and grouping folders and workspace libraries and all of that goodness later on. Maybe not today, but at some point. Okay, so we'll get the Nx configuration file. That will have an entry per project. We just have this one project for now, but we'll add more for sure. And that's also where we could set up some, let's see. Is that where we set up the linting rules for the workspace? I think so. Yeah, we'll look into that at some point. We'll get this decorate Angular CLI.js file that will enable us to still use ngserve and ngbuild rather than nxbuild and nxserve. So it will kind of reroute that ng command to nx instead. But we'll have the nx features such as computation, caching, and parallelization, things like that. Yeah, and we should be able to use the same commands after migrating. Let's just make sure that, oh, hide your message again. Let's make sure that they are actually working so that we know what we'll be looking for. Okay, so we should have ng build, and it should actually be a production build by default since this is Angular 12. But let's see. There's the production configuration, and this is the new setting in, I think it's Angular 12. It was introduced in default configuration production. Oh, and now that ridiculous Angular compatibility compiler, which is the reason we can't easily use pnpm or yarn 2 with plug and play, and takes a ridiculous amount of time. This is a pretty fast hexa-core i7 laptop. There we go. And it doesn't respect the budget bundle. That's not nice. Let's see if we can do something about that at some point. Yeah. Okay, so this command is working, ng build, and this is a production build. Let's try. We deleted lint. We deleted end-to-end. So what do we have left? Test, right? Hopefully there's a few tests. There's also a Two of Heroes testing tutorial. Those tests might not be here. They're probably not. How many tests do we have in this project? It's not good. No tests, apparently. Okay. 0 of 0 tests, success. Okay, well, let's not worry about testing right now, although that's extremely important. But the command is working. So we have test, we have build, and we should have serve as well, and globalization, but I don't want to get into that. So these three targets, serve, build, test, they should also be working after our migration. There we go. Should we make sure it's working? Yeah, we should. Let's see our app. Here it is. This is the Two of Heroes router tutorial. So other than the Heroes feature or page, whatever we might call it, there's an admin panel. You can log in. And then we have access to all these things. There's a crisis center, an active crisis. And there's a contact form here. Looks like that might be an auxiliary router outlet. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so a bit more advanced than the basic Two of Heroes, which, it has this page here. It also has the dashboard. No, that's a different dashboard. Okay. So it doesn't have the dashboard from the basic To Heroes tutorial. Oh well. Okay. I'm going to zoom in. Sorry for that. Here it is. Looks like so. We're logged in, the contact form. Yeah. So this is the app we're going to migrate. All good. We're in a good state of things. We can run our commands. So now let's go for this update or migration commands right here. So ng add using the Angular CLI. It will add this package, then it will run some schematics that are built into this package and forward this command to keep our structure. Could be interesting to see what's the alternative. No, I'll actually delete it because I prefer Nx. Let's see the Nx structure. So of course this is the where. Oh, okay. Yes, I accept. This is the very basic structure focused just on one app. So there's a source folder with the app folder and the main file and so on. Whereas with Nx, it will usually in the root of this workspace will have two folders, apps folder and libs folder. So that's what I'm hoping we'll get now. Yeah, look at that. Apps and then our app project. Libs, nothing in here except this git keep file, just to keep this folder, even though it doesn't contain any real files or useful files. And then this source directory is now empty, so this will not be part of the git history anymore. Okay, what else happened here? Yeah, deleted all from the source file, moved it into the apps To Heroes app folder, and it added these tools folder as well. There's a configuration for TypeScript, and we can have, it says schematics here, but it should be in Nx, it's called generators and builders. No, sorry, generator instead of schematic, and executor is except for or instead of the Angular CLI builders. Yeah, but anyways, this is where we can have some workspace generators or scripts or whatever inside of this tools folder. Nx has its own system. It used to be based on the Angular CLI, Angular schematics, and so on, but less and less these days. There's still a migration going on, but now there's the Nx dev kit rather than the Angular dev kit, and that doesn't in itself depend on Angular schematics. So it's framework agnostic and toolchain agnostic. Well, tied to the Nx toolchain, but can support whatever Angular, React, Next, all of these things, Node.js. Okay, something happened in the Karma configuration. Interesting. Prettier was added, recommended extensions, the Nx configuration, the libs folder, ts config base JSON. Yeah. So Nx is using the solution style TypeScript configurations, which were introduced in Angular in 10.0, but they were removed again in 10.1 of Angular for people complaining rather than fixing the problem. Yeah, so this is what Nx is using, using solution style, right? No, okay. No, this is just a base one they're all extending from. Yeah, let's see when we add a project if the solution style is still here, or maybe it also changed. Okay, we have prettier now. Should add some more settings if you want to customize it to your team. I have some preferred one as well. And make sure to use the prettier extension for VS Code. We have this decorate Angular CLI that will be wrapping the ng command and forwarding it to Nx instead. What else changed? Angular JSON was updated. Package JSON. Okay. Okay, that's it. Let's see what we have. Angular JSON. Is something changed here? Yeah, you can see here on these blue lines. How was that changed? Root source. Oh, it was the folder that changed. Yeah, same here. Okay. Yeah, and this, okay, so this is still using the Angular workspace configuration schema version 1. Nx does have its own workspace schema with version 2, where some of the things are renamed. Schematics is generators, architect is targets or target. What is it? Targets? Yeah, I think it's just targets or something. And builders is executors. Those are, there's also like something with the output. There's some patterns you can use. But other than that, they're very similar. And Nx does support this Angular schema for their workspace configuration. So we can stick with this, especially since some Angular schematics expect this layout in our workspace configuration. And Nx is patching wherever it can, but in some cases, it's still, we need to keep this Angular JSON classic layout with the version 1 schema. Yeah. Okay. We have the strict settings here for Angular and for TypeScript as well. And there are two new options being introduced either in Angular 12.2 or Angular 13. I don't remember the names, but I saw that there were 2 strict TypeScript options being added. But they're not here, it seems. Okay, good. So actually it worked as expected. I mean, we still need to verify. So let's try our commands again. Now we should be able to, again, run ng build. No. Okay, something's wrong here. Okay, so Nx, the Nx configuration should have an entry per project. Okay, a few things to change here. The scope. So this will be, say we're in a TypeScript file here. We're going to import from a library, a workspace library. So here the npm scope is what will be here. So say I want a tour of heroes. That's what I'll be adding here rather than the Tour of Heroes app. And I can do something like crisis center and whatever, a feature of crisis list or whatever. We're going to figure out how we're going to divide it. And inside of here might be a feature module of some kind. Yeah. Okay, so this is our preferred scope. There's one thing here, it's still the old master branch, but today we're using the main branch instead, and Nx is not able to detect that yet, so we have to configure that ourselves. This is all right. Oh, here, projects. Yeah. So it was expecting an end-to-end testing project, it seems, but we deleted that. So remove that. So inside of here, this projects object, there should be one entry in Nx.json for every entry in Angular.json, right? So this 2 of Heroes app has an entry, and this is where we can add some Nx tags to this project. Something we'll definitely look into. For now, we'll leave it empty. So now, does ng build work? Yeah, okay. Support was requested for IE11, but that's deprecated in Angular 12. Interesting. So, where's this browser list? Where's that? No, there's no browser list. Where's that? That file seems to be missing. No, it's not there. Okay. Okay, so we can build, this is a production build that's working now. And you saw we were using the ng build command. We should also be able to do the same with nx build now. Which will do exactly the same of compiling a production build of this project. Okay, so something worth noticing here. So the website, the migration guide on NX Devs told us that the automatic migration only supports one project in the Angular CLI workspace. So we got lucky. If you're migrating yourself, you can't use this automated migration, but it's still a matter of adding this package here. But then ng-add might not work. So instead, we should do something like yarn add dev dependency. And then we need to create files like this ourselves, the nx.json but yeah, these things. I don't know. I hope you can. Yeah, probably I would try this anyways and see what's missing. Now you know what we're supposed to have in here. Should have this prettier file, the decorate Angular CLI file, the nx.json file for sure, and we should have this tsconfig base JSON and the tools folder. And then, yeah, we'll have apps and libs for all our projects in this workspace. So this is how it's supposed to look like. Oh, it also added these recommended extensions for VS Code, the NX console, whatever, I don't know, some snippets for Angular, ESLint, and prettier. All good to have. Okay, so our command is working, nx build, and let's check out ng test with Karma. Oh, that stupid Angular compatibility compiler. Man, it's a pain. There's Karma running on Chrome. There's no tests, so everything's good. But it was running in watch mode. I think is it like single run or something like that? Nope. Watch false. And then it should finish rather than running in watch mode. Yeah, there we go. I think it failed. I think that's because of 0 tests. Don't know if there's a flag or parameter for Karma for saying 0 test is all right. There is for jest. So it's the same issue, but I don't know if it's solved in Karma. Yeah, to fix that, you'd have to add an actual test, a unit test. Okay, the command itself is working, so I'm happy with that. So we're just missing ngserve. Running. And let's see if we can connect. Yeah. Still working. Good. So that was a successful migration to Nx. Let's stage all these changes. Look what was, there was a lot of renaming this application project, adding a few files, renaming this TS config base JSON from TS config JSON. Wonder what happened in Karma. Interesting. Looks like it has some template that it's applying. Okay, so I will add these changes. Let's actually take this name here and upload this folder to a GitHub account. Just give me a second. I'll just do this off screen for a second. And then you should be able to access this yourself in a minute. Public repo. All right. Here it is. This is my handle on GitHub, LazyDK, and you can find it under NX Angular 2 of Heroes. So now I just need to push from my local. Gotta love GitHub. Here we go. And let's tweak some settings here. Don't want a wiki. Don't want projects. That's pretty much it. Oh. Yeah, I don't want Dependabot since this is just an educational project. Good. Oh, sorry. There it is. So now you have access as well. This is the NX layout. And oh, should have forgot to share my screen. Sorry. Here it is. GitHub, LazyDK, NX Angular 2 of Heroes with the NX layout of the apps folder with this project, the libs folder, which is empty right now, and the Nx configuration. So you can see this is now an Nx workspace rather than Angular CLI. Yeah, thanks for pointing it out, Shivam. I was, I'm not too good at managing screen sharing, sorry. Okay, so this was actually what I wanted to do just for now. Going to end this stream, and I might start another one, but I'll just have to think a minute about what would be the best next approach. Oh, one last thing here. Let's remove this source folder. There we go. Now it's all cleaned up, and we have a workspace using Nx. I'm just thinking about this. What if we wanted because there's another option here, and it's calling this workspace JSON. Let's just try that for fun. So to upgrade this to, well, first of all, it would still work just by renaming it. It should, at least. Nx build. Come on, computer. Yeah, so it's running. So this is working with Nx. Of course, Angular CLI wouldn't work now, but because we have this decorate Angular CLI patch, it will even work now with the ng build command. But as we can see here, it's running Nx CLI under the hood. Okay, but what if we wanted to use this Nx specific schema for our workspace? Well, first off, this schema does not work. I don't know if there is one for Nx. Let's see if we can figure that out, actually. Lib, is there a schema? Nope, there's no schema. Not in this package anyways. What about the workspace? No. Okay, so we will delete this one. Then we'll say we're using version 2, which is the Nx specific workspace configuration. And we'd have to change a few things. This would say generators instead of schematics. This would say targets, or is it targets? Yeah, targets. Some extension here. Probably the Nx console is giving me a shortcut here, and that's only working when it's called targets. I guess that's the name. And there's, what else? Oh, yeah, so we're still using the Angular builder. Nx has its own that you can use for incremental build. What else? Oh, right. Instead of builder, it should say executor. And is there anything about schematics? No, just this one. It should be called generators. Okay, let's see if it's still working now. ng build or Nx build seems to be running. And what's the reason for doing this? Well, we can support tooling for other projects rather than only Angular. Might still work using the Angular workspace configuration. I'm not sure. I think it does. Right now, there are not too many changes between the Nx workspace configuration and the Angular CLI workspace configuration, which was version 1. Yeah, so our commands are still working, but this would, of course, not be, this wouldn't work for just the Angular CLI, but both layouts in the configuration for the workspace are supported by Nx. And test build sub. Okay. Yeah. So I'm actually going to do this. Upgrade workspace layout schema to version 2. All good. Let's look at our Nx console here. We can serve our application, we can build it, we can run all these targets, we can run a test target. There's no end-to-end, there's no lint right now. But we can also run all these generators, both here's the novel Nx ones for Angular, Storybook, Workspace, which is non-Angular specific, and even the ones from the Angular schematics here. There's not a specific one for Nx. Nx supports the Angular schematics as well here. Yeah, let's push this change. Okay, so that was it. We migrated the Angular CLI workspace to Nx, and I'm going to end this stream in think about starting another one in a few minutes, maybe, if I have time. And we'll get to work trying to, I think we're going to structure this application into multiple projects, workspace libraries, and so on, and adding tags and project tags and workspace linting, which would require a linter. Yeah. So maybe we'll just start by, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. Okay. See you some other time, maybe in a few minutes, if we're lucky. Bye.